Seriously though, what? Greetings, cyberdogs and citizens of the interwebs. This is ReNDoG Bear coming at you in another episode of Modern Minecraft from the FoolCraft 3 server. How's everybody doing out there today? Oh my goodness, life is good. I'm a bear with the pimptastic hat on. What's happening? And yes, I killed a bear to make this happen. I'm sorry guys, it's a polar bear, okay? I saw it in some snowy biome somewhere when I was exploring. I couldn't help myself. I wanted to be a bear. I mean, look at me. I'm moonwalking and I'm a bear and that's freaking awesome. But yeah. Seriously, I've been looking at myself in this form now for about 15 minutes, laughing my butt off. I think it's time to get down to some business, guys. Welcome back to FoolCraft. Hope you're doing good, everybody. Hope you had a great day or are having a great day. It depends. You might be going to bed right now or you might be waking up. Who knows? The world is spinning. Some of us are in the middle of the night. Some of us are in the middle of the morning. And some of us are clearly had too much coffee today, which is me. Anyway, welcome back, dudes. Take a look at this place. Pretty awesome, right? This is called an Outback biome, and it is also going to be the location of our very first base. That's right. I have finally decided on a spot to call my home, and this is where we're going to be starting things off in FoolCraft 3. I'm going to have multiple bases on this server though, guys, and I got lots of really sweet plans for our bases, but we got lots of stuff to do today before we can even talk about bases. By the way, I've called this area Big Cheez Power, and I'm going to leave that with you to try and figure out what that's all about. You may have noticed, though, at the start of the episode, a cute little chisel and bits home over here. Isn't this adorable? I just made this morning, and we're going to need this in today's episode because it's a start of a brand new week on the FoolCraft server, which means there is a new law in place. Plus, there's a chance for us to make some freaking cash monies, baby. I want to go and have a look at the Big Cheez Grill, see if we've made any profits for the last week on the server. Hopefully, because we got to pay rent today. We got to pay 200 rent for the Big Cheez Grill plot. So we'll be coming back to Big Cheez Power here in this beautiful area. And we're also going to be making use of this little house today, too, which should make us a little bit of money. All very exciting. Now, last episode, my dudes, we went down into a roguelike dungeon over there. We raided the living jazz out of it. Listen, I want to say a massive thank you for the insane amount of love in the previous episode, guys. Absolutely ridiculous amount of likes, ridiculous amount of views, ridiculous amount of comments. Thank you, guys. Really, really made me happy seeing the response to the last episode, man. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it, and I had an absolute blast. We managed to rip out something called the Winger from that roguelike dungeon. It's a mega loot, a shovel, which is really, really awesome, by the way. I've learned a couple of things about this thing from you guys in the comments. Take a look at this, right? Well, it's a shovel at the moment, but if we hold down Shift, and I think it's, wait, hang on. Is it Control that we hold down, or is it Alt? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so if we press Alt when we're using this thing, we can actually change the size of the area that it mines. So take a look at that, right? Now it's going to mine a bigger area. Now it's going to mine a 5x5 area. How awesome is that? Really, really sweet. Now, there's a lot of things that we can do with this particular shovel in the Mega Loot mod. In fact, we could potentially turn this shovel into an all-in-one tool, just like we have over here, except this one will be indestructible, which will be amazing for us to do some strip mining and whatnot, right? But that is a pretty long process in the Mega Loot mod. We'll get into that eventually, okay? So we're gonna get back to the Mega Loot mod in the next couple of episodes. We've got so much to do in the series right now, guys. It's absolutely crazy. Now, last episode I also showed you the joys of the Staff of Traveling, right? Which is a really cool little staff that lets you sort of zoop in a general direction. Now, I figured something out about this staff on stream a couple of nights ago, and let me tell you something, dudes. I have cracked early flight in FoolCraft 3. One of the cool things about FoolCraft 3, of course, is that you can't get flight really early. I think flight is super OP in modded Minecraft. I don't particularly like it, and I don't like getting it super early. I think it's nice to get it eventually, but in previous versions of FoolCraft, you could get early flight really quick, like within the first 5 hours. You could find yourself a cloud pet, for example, which would give you creative flight. And I don't know, man, I don't like that very much. It just feels a little bit too OP for me. But with the Staff of Traveling from Ender.io, take a look at this. We could actually do some pseudo flying, right? As long as we've got juice in our staff, we can actually fly. Now, what we are doing here is zooping about 30 blocks every time we use the staff. And as you can see, we've kind of flown over to our area from that area. I mean, it takes a little bit of time. It's a little bit derpy also. It's pretty difficult to control also. Jeez, almost landed with my butt on them cactuses over there. But as you can see, very, very useful, right? Very, very useful. Now, of course, what we have to do is we have to charge the staff up every now and then in one of our charging places, which is over here. Yeah, this thing, the wired charger, right, that we made for the Ender. And as you can see, we power that thing up. Now, there's a couple of upgrades and stuff that we can do to the staff, in fact, that will take it to the next level. And I'm thinking what we're going to do today is experiment a little bit with that, and then we're going to start working on the foundations for our brand new base. Let me just start cleaning up my inventory over here. Already picked up some poop over here. Excellent. And a whole bunch of other stuff that I didn't really want in the inventory. So I've got a plan, my dudes. We need to start thinking about making some more cash monies on this server, right? And I've been thinking a little bit about the Staff of Traveling. What if this week we transform the Big Cheez Grill into the Big Cheez Flight Emporium and sell some early game flight to the fools? You know what I'm talking about, guys? You picking up what I'm putting down over here? I mean, what sort of price would you put on early game flight? I'm thinking $200 maybe? Maybe a little bit cheaper? Maybe a little bit more expensive? I'm not sure. But how much would a fool pay to be able to do this? I'm thinking a fair bit of cash monies, baby, because that's actually some powerful jazz. So let's head over to Town Hall. We've got a little bit of administration to attend to over here. And as you guys can see, the rule for the last episode, or the last week rather, which was doing intros in F5 mode, has now changed. Care for at least one animal every episode. Feed it, pet it, build it a nice home. Well, you may have guessed what the intro was all about. We'll get back to that in a second. We need to do this every episode or we're going to get fined. But take a look at this, dudes. We have got a couple of new jobs available this week. We've got Get Well Fool, Dear Diary, and Secret Admirer, which is pretty interesting. We've also still got an outstanding job from last week, which is Meals on Wheels, which I think I'm going to do in a little bit different way also. We can still make a little bit of cash money out of that. Wow, man, what is all this stuff in... oh, geez, here's the rent receipt. Oh, man. Is that last week's rent receipt? Oh, here's our living wage also of $150. Oh, my goodness. Nice. But as you guys can see, we've had a couple of the fools doing Meals on Wheels, and they've just been dropping off baked potatoes and chickens in each other's chests over here, right? Pretty boring way to do Meals on Wheels. We're going to do Meals on Wheels in a much better way, my friends, and that's going to earn us another $100. Let's start collecting all of the cash money that we've made last week, right? And this is super exciting. Shall we head over to Big Cheez, see how much money we've actually made? I have no idea. I haven't actually looked in here since we were last out here, so I'm kind of excited, kind of curious. Shall we start with Cheesy Cheese Chips over here? Let's see if we sold any Cheesy Cheese Chips. We sold one stack of Cheesy Cheese Chips, but it looks like someone might have underpaid. That's only $15, and it very clearly states $25 per 32 stack. So some fool out there has made a grievous error. I'm going to assume that it was a mistake and not intentional because, you know, every now and then we take the wrong currency out of our wallet, but let's take the $15. That'll do. Now let's have a look in the Big Cheez grilled cheese sandwich chest. How much cash money have we made? Oh my goodness. This is actually pretty sweet. All right, couple of fools cashing in their vouchers. Very, very good. And look at this, man. There's a 20. There's a 50. There's another 5. There is another 50 bucks there. Beautiful. Absolutely amazing. And there is another 50 bucks there using the Big Cheez voucher. And there is something that makes me unhappy. We've got a $10 Big Cheez voucher, and someone has just taken 10 grilled cheeses out of the shop and paid for it with the Big Cheez voucher, which is basically free because I made that. So basically, someone just stole 10 grilled cheeses from the Big Cheez grill. And I'm not happy about that, man. I mean, what is this? You know what this is the equivalent of doing? This is the equivalent of walking into a freaking shop and, you know, say you go to the shop, you want to buy some eggs, right? You need some eggs. You want to make yourself a delicious omelet. You go to the shop, but you only need 3 eggs. So you take 3 eggs out of the carton of the freaking egg carton, and you leave 3 eggs in the egg carton, and then on top of that, you just walk out with the eggs. You don't even pay for them. That is what has just happened to us in the Big Cheez grill, dudes. We have been ripped off by somebody out there, and I'm not happy about this. The Big Cheez is a very generous mob boss. I mean, entrepreneur / business owner. And when we get ripped off, it makes me unhappy. And I think we need some sort of a court or something in this area, and one of these fools is going to have to pay for their crimes. Not only did they not pay for their Big Cheez grill, they didn't even use the shop properly, and they took 10 Big Cheez grilled cheeses with the frickin' voucher that we gave them for free. Unacceptable behavior. Hey, anybody out there who knows who is responsible for this egregious abuse of the voucher system? Unbelievable. How much money did we make out of this anyway? Wow, we actually made quite a lot of bling blangs over here, right? Looks like we made, what, 20? And then I think that's like 200. And you know what? I'm not going to do maths on camera right now because that's kind of embarrassing. Can we combine these things to make like bigger denominations? All right, we can make 50s. Let's make a whole bunch of 50s, baby. And that's going to make some 10s. This is actually kind of embarrassing right now. Hold on, let's make some 10s. All right, so we got 5 50s, which is 250 plus 90, so $340 in total for last week. So we made a profit of... got to pay our rent, right? So there we go. There's our rent. We made a profit of $140 for last week. I mean, not bad, not bad. $140 profit. I mean, it's not bad. We would have made $190 profit if one of the fools hadn't frickin' cheated the Big Cheez. And, man, we're going to have some revenge, aren't we, guys? I'm smelling revenge, baby. All right, we're back at the Ren Cave Cyber Diggity Dogs, and I've just put away all of our jobs for this week. Dear Diary, Secret Admirer, Meals on Wheels, and Get Well Full. That's everything that we need to do this week to make ourselves some serious cash money. That's going to be a lot of work for us to do on the server, which is really, really sweet. But today, my friends, we aren't going to be doing any of those because we have got some more important things to get to. Firstly, we need to meet the rule requirements of this week's server, which is having a pet, giving him a house, and feeding him and petting him. So I made a little house out there over at Big Cheez Power, and I thought maybe what we could do is we could get a chicken pet going in that little house. Our very first pet for this week will be a chicken. Let's get a whole bunch of eggs in the belly, get ourselves over there. Now, there are a couple of fools on the server who have not been following the rules of the government, and Gaming on Caffeine, Janky Nick, I'm looking at you guys, man. And unfortunately, the boys have been fined rather heavily for not obeying the rules. So I'm going to make sure that I obey the rules on the server. And by the way, guys, if you haven't checked out Gaming and Caffeine or Janky Nick yet, they are brand new members here in FoolCraft, and they are producing some of the best FoolCraft videos in the series to date. Seriously, man, I have not laughed myself silly as much as I have laughed watching a couple of their videos last week. Absolutely amazing, man. Go check them out. Give them some support, guys. They're doing such a great job on the FoolCraft 3 server. I'll throw a link down to their channel in my description box today. But yeah, doing a great job out there, man. I love seeing the new members doing so well on the server. It's so freaking sweet. Anyway, we don't want to be fined like those guys because, man, I think they've already been fined $25 or something. It's been a pretty crazy hit to their wallet, and we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen to us. So I made ourselves a little pet house over here. It's kind of like a little dog house, I guess. And I would like to see if we can spawn a chicken in there. That's going to be our very first pet, I think. Can we get him in there? I've got a bunch of eggs here. Hopefully one of them will break. Although the little baby chicken could probably run under here. Hopefully not. There he is. Look at him. Oh, he's absolutely adorable. Also, I think I'm going to feed him, right? Make him a little bit happy. Oh, hello there, little cutie pie. What is happening? Have some seeds. There you go. Oh, you are so cute. I think we should probably name him too, though, right? I don't think I have any name tags, though, which is kind of unfortunate. Well, this just saved me about 3 hours of fishing for name tags, guys. Take a look at this. You can actually make name tags in FoolCraft 3. That's amazing. All you need is a bit of slime, some paper, and some string. We got a bunch of slime from the Roguelike dungeon, so that's amazing. Get in my belly name tag. Beautiful. I've got an anvil over here, too. And we're going to name our very first pet over here. Diablo El Pollo. For those of you guys who are old school ReNDoG fans, you'll know what that means. By the way, I made that in the crafting table on a stick, which is a very useful item in FoolCraft. You just need a crafting table and a sign, and you basically have a crafting table wherever you go in the world. Pretty cool, right? Anyway, let's name our pet over there. Hi, what's happening? Diablo El Pollo. Oh, you are absolutely adorable. I want to pet you a little bit. There you go. Does that meet the requirements, government? I hope so. I mean, look how cute his little house is, and he is very adorable, although slightly terrifying, if I'm honest with you. If you guys know the history of Diablo, well, he's basically a demon chicken, and he could do some serious damage. We should probably get ourselves out of here before his influence starts to take over. Whoever said polar bears can't fly? Am I right, guys? Take a look at this, man. This bear's got wings. If you know what I'm saying. Oh, this staff for traveling. So freaking awesome. Next up in today's episode, my dudes, is a little bit of flight action. Wow, that polar bear took some pretty serious damage there. Shall we get back into ReNDoG mode? Yeah, I don't think it's healthy to be a polar bear when flying around. It's a rather heavy chunk of meat to be hitting the asphalt when you come down, right? All right, that's enough polar bear shenanigans for one episode, guys. Let's get down to some actual modern frickin' Minecraft over here, shall we? Oh man, we're back in the base over here, guys, at our very simple Enderio factory. Got a couple of alloy smelters cooking some stuff over here, and a sag mill over here too. I've been doing a little bit of experimenting, you'll be keen to know, off camera, and I think I've figured out something pretty interesting for us to do today, guys. We're going to be taking early game flight to the next level in FoolCraft 3. Okay, so we got the Staff of Traveling, pretty cool. Let's zoom around the place. It's a little bit awkward though, as you can see, and well, it uses up quite a lot of power. That Staff of Traveling doesn't last very long. The good news is there is a couple of ways that we can improve our flight here in FoolCraft 3. Firstly, if we have a look at the Staff of Traveling, it's got something called Empowered on it, right? Currently it's Empowered 2. Now, we can probably take that to the next level, I think. If we have a look at this, we can actually upgrade the Staff of Traveling with basic capacitors, and with an octadic capacitor, I think, we'll be able to take it up to Empowered 4, which is something that I'd like to do today. Of course, the basic capacitor is kind of easy to make, but with the octadic capacitor, if we have a quick look at that recipe, it's a little bit more complicated. What we need is vibrant alloy ingots, double-layered capacitors, and a little bit of glowstone. And to make a vibrant alloy ingot, well, it's kind of simple. We've got to put an ender pearl and some energetic alloy through an alloy smelter. And I have been doing that. I've already made a couple of these vibrant alloy ingots over here, which is going to be very useful for us. And that is going to allow us to have a lot more juice inside of our Staff of Traveling, right? So we don't have to recharge it so often. Now, I think we could probably take this flight idea to the next freaking level. I have been looking at something called a glider from Enderio. Take a look at the recipe. We need a bit of dark steel ingot action and some glider wings. And what we can do with this is very interesting. Take a look at this, guys. We can attach the glider wings to a dark plate from Enderio, and that gives us glider on what looks to me to be a piece of armor. Now, if we have a look at dark plate, that is an Enderio recipe, and to make this, we need dark steel ingots. Now, to make dark steel ingots, all you need to do is jam some iron ingot action, some pulverized coal, and some obsidian into an alloy smelter. You can do it in a simple alloy smelter from Enderio, but it takes a ridiculously long. I think it takes like 5 minutes for one ingot. So I've been doing this off camera here. But guys, I'm very excited about this because I think we could potentially make for ourselves a glider chest plate, right? And with the Staff of Traveling, what we could potentially do is zoom our way up here, and then we could start gliding. So we don't actually have to use the Staff of Traveling that much. We could just use the Staff of Traveling to get some distance or some height up into the sky. And then we could use that to actually glide. So that's kind of exciting. By the way, take a look at this, guys. I made for myself a weirding gadget here in the base. This was something that one of you guys told me about. And it's basically a chunk loader. And the way that you make this is with a chiseled block of gold, some iron ingots, and an Eye of the Ender. And of course, we can make Eye of the Enders with some ender pearls and some blaze powder. So pretty easy to make. Now, the way this thing works, as I understand it, is while you are logged into the server, it will load the chunk that it is currently in. So when we are over there at Big Cheez Power, or maybe over at Full City, while we're online, this weirding gadget is keeping our factory going over here. And yeah, producing a ridiculous amount of grilled cheese. We've already got an entire full small storage crate of grilled cheese. Making another small storage crate of grilled cheese over here. We're going to be using all of those resources to generate power over at the Big Cheez Power plant. Did I just spoil what we're going to make? We're going to make a power plant, guys. It's going to be called the Big Cheez Power plant. It's going to be sweet. But before we get to that, let's experiment with a little bit of flight over here. Because I think if we can get some really interesting early game flight going, we might be able to make a profit, right? I'm thinking if we could set up a little flight package for the fools, that could be something that we could sell, like a flight bundle. And in that flight bundle, we could sell a Staff of Traveling and a dark plate glider or something like that, right? And oh man, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself though over here. Let's see if we can actually make this work to start with, right? So what we need to do, I think, is make this glider first, right? Gilda, that's not how you spell glider, and there we go. So to make this, we need to make these glider wings. And we got to make some dark steel nuggets. So let's make the nuggets out of one of the dark steel ingots. And then let's make ourselves a pair of these. Then we can make the glider, right? Beautiful. Now, in the anvil, we can combine the dark plate with the glider, right? And that's going to give us glider. Okay, so if theory is correct, if we stick this on, we should glide. Let's have a look. Are we gliding? No. Do we have to, like, activate gliding or something? Saba diggity dogs, I think I done cracked the nut on this one, man. I'm smelling serious profits right now. I have figured out how to use the glider. First thing that you need to do is go to your controls, search for glide, and then you need to set a key for your glider toggle over here, right, for the dark steel armor. Once you've done that, all you need to do is hold down shift and click the key that is going to turn on your wings. And take a look at this. If you're wearing the dark plate glider, it actually toggles the wings, or it sort of defolds the wings out of your back. How cool is that, man? Look at that. That is so sweet. Now, with the wings toggled, as long as you are flying or floating in an air block, I suppose, look at this, you glide. Now, with the Staff of Traveling, we hold shift and right click, and now we basically have pseudo flight, right? Look at this. We're basically flying in FoolCraft, which is absolutely amazing. Of course, it's not as good as creative flight. It's kind of difficult to control, of course. And I'm not sure if that plate is going to take any damage or not. But look at this. This way we'll be able to fly around, find ourselves some cloud pets and whatnot. Oh, geez. Also spawn some blazes over there. But that is early game flights in FoolCraft, my dudes. Absolutely amazing. That is so sweet. Now, the problem is, of course, we are using up a bunch of power out of the Staff of Traveling. It's also a little bit slow, right? I mean, we're pretty much gliding, but we're going to be able to sort of glide quite nicely in between places, and we're going to have to get the hang of this gliding also. It's a little bit on the tedious side, but it definitely makes using the Staff of Travel easier. Plus, it saves on a little bit of power of the Staff of Traveling, right? Now, I'm wondering, what if we add a little bit of power into this dark steel plate. What is that going to do for it? If we have a look at this, empowered, it's going to take the damage. The power is going to absorb the damage that the plate takes, just like it did with the other bit of armor. Of course, we're sacrificing the set bonus from our obsidian armor here, but I guess the obsidian armor we'll only use when we go into roguelikes, right? We don't actually need that armor when we're in the overland here. That is absolutely amazing. So, dudes, take a look at this, right? Here's what I'm thinking. Let me see if you guys can pick up what I'm putting down over here. What if we were to change our Big Cheez grill shop into a glider early flight emporium shop, right? And yeah, it's kind of annoying actually having the glider when you're just playing normally. So it's actually a good thing to turn it off when you're just playing normally like this, right? You sort of fold the wings back in on themselves. Very nice. But what if we sold something like this, right? A package in Fool City where we sell a dark plate plus a staff of traveling for, I don't know, $200, something like that. That will give our fools early game travel, and maybe what we could do is set up one of these charge units inside of the shop so that they can charge up the staff for traveling. That might be a pretty good business idea. I don't think we're going to make any more money out of the Big Cheez, guys. I think the fools have got themselves all the food that they need right now. They're probably all working on their own type of food system. So I reckon profits from the Big Cheez grill are going to dry up pretty quickly. So we need to figure out another plan, quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I'm thinking early game flight with this beautiful glider mod is where we want to be, right? I mean, look at this. We are now, we're flying. Well, kind of. We're gliding, and that's pretty awesome. I think what we could potentially do here, though, is beef up the power of the staff of traveling, right? Try and get a little bit more battery power inside of the staff of traveling. So let me round up a couple of octadic capacitors over here and pump those into the staff of traveling. And that should give us a nice little upgrade to our early game flight package over here. Freaking beautiful, man. By the magical powers of the YouTuber edit and cut mechanism, I have just removed 20 minutes of unadulterated derpage from this video, guys. I've been trying to figure out how to upgrade the battery life of our staff of traveling with an octadic capacitor, because the recipe implies that this can be done. You stick a capacitor and the staff of traveling inside of an anvil, and that should give you a better empowered enchantment. However, what it doesn't tell you is that you need a dark steel anvil to do it. And to make a dark steel anvil, well, you need a bunch of dark steel. And to make dark steel, you've got to stick iron, pulverized coal, and obsidian into an alloy smelter. And this simple alloy smelter takes about 5 to 7 minutes to make one of those blocks. And guys, I'm not ready to sit here around here all day long making a dark steel anvil. I think we could do this in a much better way by basically improving our alloy smelters from Ender.io, right? So instead of using the simple versions, we use the proper versions. Now, the problem with the proper versions is that they require a ridiculous amount of power. And at the moment, we have just got a couple of culinary generators around here and not really producing any substantial amounts of power. So, I think the next step for our series, guys, is to build ourselves a sweet power plant out at the Big Cheez Power desert out there. And what I would like to do is set up a really awesome culinary generator power plant, right? We're going to make like 20 culinary generators, and we're going to start generating power using all of these grilled cheese sandwiches. We've got a surplus of grilled cheese over here. Let's make use of it. Let's generate some serious RFH at the Big Cheez Power plant in the desert. And then we can start working on our proper alloy smelters from Ender.io. And then we can start working on upgrading and creating some of these staffs of traveling. But to make the staff of traveling, of course, the dark steel ingots are cheap, but the ender crystals, not so cheap, right? We need a soul vial with an enderman in it, and we also need to make a soul binder, the machine soul binder, that is, and that's kind of expensive. It's not exactly a cheap thing to create, and all of this is going to require some serious juice, some serious power. So I think we're going to take a step back from our flight project. Very, very happy that we have got flight, though, with the glider. Absolutely amazing. And I'm going to see if this week we can get our power plant up and we can start setting up some of these early early game flight packages for the fools. Even if we sell 1 or 2 of them, that'll be perfect, right? That'll get us to our goal of trying to purchase our plot. So that is pretty awesome, man. But there we go. Activate our glider and we can float around. Absolutely amazing. So I reckon we get working on the Big Cheez Power plant, my friends, for the rest of today's episode. And to make that power plant, I've got some real sweet plans. I've found some beautiful blocks that we're going to need to make the power plant. But in order to make those blocks, I've had to do a bunch of mining and a bunch of smelting. I've already done all of the smelting off camera over here, and I've been after a very specific block to smelt, and that is nickel. And I've been mining a bunch of nickel off camera from our strip mine, but I've been doing it in a really awesome way. So last time we were together in the previous episode, we raided that roguelike dungeon, right? And we managed to pick up the winger over here. It's an indestructible shovel, but what this shovel allows me to do is some serious strip mining. So welcome everybody to the new mines of the ReNDoG, the new Big Cheez mines is probably what it should be called. And as you can see, it's an absolute mess down here, and that's because I've been using this beautiful thing. Hang on, I think I'm going to get my proper armor sets on here just for this, because it can get a bit dangerous down here. But I've been using this shovel to do some serious vein mining, right? The cool thing about this indestructible shovel is that we can vein mine away all of the stone. Unfortunately, the downside is we don't get to collect the stone because the shovel actually breaks the stones. Hang on, what happened there? Oh, I know what we have to do. This has to be set to off in order for vein miner to work over here. So take a look at this, right? We can vein mine this away, and we have to turn off the area miner of the winger to make it work. So here we go. We should be able to vein mine a huge section away here. Beautiful. And that's exposed for us some ores over here, and I've been collecting those, of course, and then taking them upstairs to do some smeltage. I don't know if I have this hat actually on this spider. Hi. I don't think I have this hat. Give me your hat, my dude. And the stupid skeleton has arrived. There we go. Hat unlocked. Grumpy. Oh my goodness. What's going on here? Do you have some sort of a crazy enchantment on your bow there? What happened there? I have no idea. Why did I lose vision? That was weird. Anyway, so I've been doing a bunch of mining down here with the winger. Very awesome. And once you get yourself an indestructible tool from Megaloot, you're able to do this, right? It really helps to take modded to the next freaking level. Now, while we were not together, a couple of days ago on stream, I actually went and raided another roguelike dungeon, guys. And oh, baby, do I got some good news for you. Not only did I find a whole bunch of other loot, but I did find a couple more epic loot cases, and I've been storing them in this storage crate over here. This is all the stuff that I've managed to pick out of the 2 roguelike dungeons that I have completed. And most importantly, I found another couple of epic mega loot cases and a bunch of mega loot shards. Now, the important thing about the Mega Loot mod is that we can actually upgrade these Mega Loot cases into other higher versions of themselves. So eventually we are able to turn a rare Mega Loot case into an epic Mega Loot case. But to do that, we actually have to consume Mega Loot cases. So I need to save one of these epic Mega Loot cases over here because I actually found 3 Mega Loot cases in total. I found another one in the roguelike dungeon that we went to, and actually guys, I was reading the comments of the previous episode, and apparently I forgot to open a couple of the chests in the old dungeon, so I went back off camera and I found another epic loot case, believe it or not, which is absolutely awesome. And I found a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah, there's the other epic mega loot case. So this bag of holding, this is everything I left in the dungeon, right? A lot of you guys were saying to me that I left a bunch of stuff, and as you can see, I did leave a bunch of stuff, including a bunch of rare shards and some cases. And this is the bag of holding for the roguelike that I attacked on stream rather, and not on camera. And you can see I actually left a whole bunch of stuff in there too. So I have now basically completely pillaged both of these roguelikes and got a couple of epic mega loot cases out of this. Managed to pick up a pretty interesting item from the epic loot case that I got on stream, and take a look at what I found. The killer, baby! Pretty awesome, right? Take a look at this pickaxe, man. really, really awesome. It gives us night vision when we're holding it, which is really cool. That means that if we could eventually make this thing indestructible, we will be able to vein mine underground without using torches, which is super exciting. However, to do that, we have to get into the Mega Loot mod, and I'm super excited about it. But it's a very awesome mod. It's kind of complicated too, so we will be getting into that over the course of the next few weeks or so. But I do want to crank these two epic Mega Loot cases open with you guys today. We're going to be holding on to one of them, in fact, or maybe we should hold on to two of them. I'm going to hold on to two of them, actually. So we're going to crank open one today, see what we can get, man. We got that amazing shovel in one of these epic Mega Loot cases, so we might be able to get something else out of this thing. So you guys ready to pop an epic Mega Loot case open with the ReNDoG before we get working on the power plant? Oh, I think so. Hold your freaking paws out there, my dudes. Let's hope we get something sweet to kapalayum. Ooh, that looks kind of spicy. Another shovel. It looks really beautiful, though. Let's take a look at this. The toothpick looks pretty awesome. It's got 6 upgrade slots available on it, so that is pretty insane. I think we're going to stick with the winger for now, though, right? Because the winger is already a ridiculous, mostly because it's indestructible. That's what makes it really, really good. But we're managing to pick up a couple more bits of epic Mega Loot over here, and I'm smelling potentially an epic Mega Loot shop further down the line. You guys picking up what I'm putting down over here? Oh, baby. Oh, isn't that cute? But it's wrong! Diablo's all grown up, guys. He's looking very scary, too. Staring straight into my soul over there. Hi, Diablo. Here's some seeds for you, my dude. Look at that! That actually stopped him staring into my soul. That was kind of disturbing. I've taken a few steps away from Diablo over there, guys. He kind of terrifies me. Here we are, by the way, in this really beautiful biome. This biome is called the Outback. And after, well, exploring a massive, vast expanse of the FoolCraft 3 server, I have finally settled on a biome that I kind of like for the very first part of our FoolCraft 3 base. Now, let me try explain myself when I say the very first part of the base. We're not going to be making one base in this series. Oh no, my friends, we are going to be making, well, one base that's made up of many basei, if that makes any sense at all. So, my plan for the series is to make each part of our main base in different little base size all around the server. Or something. So, let me break it down for you, right? In this biome, we're going to be making a power plant. This is where we're going to be generating the power for our collective base. The base is going to be made up of many bases. And this is where the power is going to come from. The next part of the base might be the food generating section of the base, and that might be somewhere around here in one of these biomes or whatever. And by the end of the series, we'll have a whole bunch of little basei that make up one major base. Does that make any sense whatsoever? I hope so. Anyway, I've chosen this biome for our power plant biome because there's a lot of reasons why I like this biome. Firstly, it kind of reminds me a little bit of South Africa. This area, I think, is supposed to be the Australian Outback, but this kind of reminds me of a part of South Africa called the Karoo Desert. And this is a very massive desert in South Africa that you sort of drive through if you drive from the north of the country into the south of the country. And when I used to live in Cape Town in South Africa, I used to drive through the Karoo about 8 times a year as I used to go back and forth to visit my parents. And when I saw this biome, when I was looking around, it just instantly reminded me of my home country, South Africa. And I kind of like that. It might not be the prettiest biome in the world, but I really like being in here. I think I found a very beautiful little spot here. We have this little mountain that I think looks really nice, and it kind of connects into a savanna biome over here too, right? So it's kind of pretty. We have a very nice sort of connection over here too. And if we go this way, we connect into a desert, which is actually kind of useful because this is a good supply of sand over here, right? That we can turn into glass. Now, if we have a look at the map also, what I like about this biome is that every other biome connected to it is a biome that would make sense. That would be connected to this. One of the things I don't like in modded Minecraft terrain generation is where two biomes that are completely different to each other seem to be next to each other. So that, you know, most often you'll see like a very icy biome next to some sort of a warm biome, right? It just doesn't make any sense that these are connected that way. But here in this beautiful Outback biome, we are connected to a whole bunch of other dry biomes, which is really, really cool. We're also very close to a mesa here, so easy access to gold. We're pretty close to a village over here too, so nice easy access to emeralds. And we've got a couple of interesting things around here, a couple of meteor craters, got a bit of water sourcage here to connect to get water from. And there's a couple of like little oases in the biome, which I really, really like. So this is kind of a sweet, sweet biome. I really like it. And I have this idea for a power plant, okay? Imagine, if you will, for a moment, a very old and rusty Outback power plant that is made up of like metal sheet roofing and very thin pillars of like metal poles holding up the roofing, and underneath the roofing you have this sort of rusted power facility, a whole bunch of, I don't know, transformers and capacitors that have been rusting in the sun, getting corroded by the harsh environment out here, but it's still working, right? And it's going to look like a sort of really old school power plant, like an old school coal power plant that you might find in a desert somewhere or something. I got plans, my dudes. I got plans. And to make those plans happen, we're going to have to use a couple of really interesting blocks to make this happen. Now, I was talking about sheet metal to make the roof, and that's where we're going to kick things off, okay? We're going to go through the block palettes of our power plant build today. But to do that, we're going to have to make the blocks. And they're kind of difficult to make, some of them. The first one that I want to make is called a tin sheet metal, which looks like this. Oh, sorry, not tin sheet metal, nickel sheet metal. Look at that color. It's really, really sweet. Now, to make the nickel sheet metal, we've got to make nickel plates. And to make the nickel plates, we can use something called a compactor from a thermal expansion to actually compact nickel ingots into nickel plates. So I've set up a little bit of a workstation for us out here. I've got a couple of storage crates. Here's the food for our power plant, and here's everything that we'll need for today's setup. We're going to be working on the block palette for today, I think. Maybe we'll get a bit into the factory, but we'll see how it goes. Sorry about that, guys. A car alarm went off somewhere near me, and it was kind of messing with my brain. So here we are back again doing some technical stuff, so we've got to concentrate, right? We're going to make this compactor over here. I think I've got everything in my inventory to do this. We've got to start with the machine frame, which we need to make a tin gear out of, which is tin ingots and iron ingots. So let's make a couple of those. Let's make 2 of these compactors, actually, and then we can make the machine frame itself. So there we go. We'll make 2 machine frames. And then what else do we need? Oh yeah, we need bronze ingots, which you make from putting tin and copper into an alloy smelter. We're using the simple alloy smelter for that. So that's really easy to make. I've already made myself a couple of those. We just need pistons, and then we need copper gears, which is copper ingots and iron ingots. Nice and simple. We'll make ourselves, I think we need 4 of those to make 2 of these compactors, right? Yeah, and then we need 2 redstone reception coils, which is gold and redstone. So a couple of those bad boys. And that, my friends, should be a couple of compactors. Very nice. Beautiful. Now, I've got a little bit of a compacted Ender.io factory over here. We've got a culinary generator powering a capacitor bank. That's powering a sag mill and an alloy smelter, just in case we need those things. And behind that culinary generator, we have our wired charger to do our recharging. But we're going to plug these compactors in over here. Wow, they actually look really sweet, don't they? I like that, man. I think that looks really cool. I would very much like a chest now. Oh, did I not bring myself any wood whatsoever? Oh, man. All right, that's okay, actually. Let's just get our nickel out. The problem is I have very little nickel, and nickel is actually kind of an expensive block. Take a look at this, guys. You can actually tell where to find nickel ore in the world by clicking on the ore in the GUI and then hitting the world generation. It shows you where to get it, and it most frequently occurs, in my experience, at about Y level 6, so pretty close to the bottom of the surface. I showed you guys the strip mine that I've been working on. That's where I've got most of the nickel. But after about 3 hours of strip mining, literally got myself like a stack of nickel, which I then all doubled up with the sag mill. So yeah, we don't have a lot of nickel, unfortunately. So I guess we'll jam our 2 stacks of nickel in the compressor. And there they go, doing the compressing. Very nice. All right, so we'll let that tick over. We're going to need some nickel to be produced in order to continue. And I can actually drop all of this stuff out of my inventory now. Nice. Get nice and cleaned up. Now, by the way, if you're wondering where all these pork chops are arriving from, it's from this gorgeous little pig thing. Isn't it awesome? It is a pig pet, and what this does is it allows you to eat poison foods, which is interesting. It gives you free pork chops, but it gives you bonus hunger saturation, so you get hungry slower, which is really sweet, and all you need is some carrots in your inventory. So these two pets have been very useful to me. The anvil pet that's slowly repairing my stuff, and the pig pet, which is making me eat less. So that's pretty cool, and that's where these pork chops are coming from. Very annoying, actually. I don't want the pork chops. But yeah, the pig pet poops that out. Anyway, so these are going to help us to make the first block of our block palette, which I think has just arrived. Can we actually make this? Let's have a look. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Let's have a look at the sheet metal. What does it actually make to make this sheet metal? Oh, it's got to be in a very specific pattern. All right, let's use the portable crafting table there. It's got to be like that. Okay, sweet. So take a look at this. Oh, this is a beautiful block. Look at that. It's sheet metal, right? So if you can imagine really, really thin metals of sheet, or sheets of metal, should I say. I think that's an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous block. Perfect. And what we can do, of course, is chisel and bits this, right, to make it a little bit thinner. But for now, we're just going to focus on the block palette itself, right? So let's make a little bit of space over here. Move these beautiful cacti. Next up on the block palette is going to be something called a chiseled clay block. Let me get my chisel out. There it is. And take a look at this, guys. I've done a little bit of off-camera research. I've cooked up a bunch of bricks out of just basic vanilla clay. And man, we actually get a really, really pretty brick, really pretty chisel block out of this. Let's just turn this into some bricks, okay? Now, let's crank open our chisel, get this in there, and look at this. We get all of these very interesting blocks. Now, I've chosen this specific block for chisel from the chisel mod because I think that brick is going to fit into this biome quite nicely. It's already quite a lot of orange going on out here. And we want our factory, or our power plant anyway, to look like it's a little bit worn down, right? Like it's been like damaged by this very harsh environment. So I want to use something called the brick tile. I think this is the big tile from the chisel, and take a look at how beautiful this block is in this particular biome. Very nice, right? Look at that. So this is going to make up like the floor of our power plant. This is going to make up the roof of our power plant, something like that, right? And I think so far these two blocks fit really nicely into this biome. Really loving it. Now, there's one more block that I want to make to fit into our little block palette over here. But to do that, we need a ton of iron, which is why I've been going absolutely crazy on the strip mining. I've managed to get myself a ton of iron ore, which I've ore doubled. And let me just sleep this night away, and then we'll work on the next block for our palette over here. Stupid son, why you got to set on me all the time? Jeez, stupid son, get your butthole in the sky, man. We're trying to play some modded Minecraft over here. I mean, crying in a bucket. Anyway, so the last block for the major block palette. So these are going to be the primary blocks in our build, right? And then we'll figure out some other blocks as we go. But the last block that I want to use in our block palette is going to be from the factory block mod, which is actually from Chisel 2. And in order to get the block that I want, we have to actually make a factory block. And to do that, we have to spend iron and stone to make a factory block. So pretty expensive stuff. To get one of these factory blocks costs you 4 iron and 4 stone. So a very expensive block, but it does make some pretty beautiful things. Take a look at this. We're going to throw the factory block in the chisel, and we are going to be making something called the rusty plate from the chisel mod. I have used the rusty plate a lot, and I really, really like it. I think it's very pretty. Look at that, man. You got that rusted, dilapidated feel to it, and I think it fits in really nicely with the clay block and the metal sheeting block. These are going to be our primary blocks for our power plant facility out here. And I guess the way that this is going to work, if we just do like a little quick setup over here somewhere, I think what I'm going to do is, where can we even begin? I mean, this place is so beautiful. Look at this little area here. I love it. If we just did a little something over here, right? Let's just do like a very quick example of what we might do. Let's do like a 5x5 of a floor. So we might have like a floor like this, where we will set up one part of our culinary generator power plant, and then around the floor we might have our iron blocks like this, right? And maybe we'll use these factory factory blocks for a little bit of support too, right? So maybe we'll have like the support pillars of the factory. Let's get this little cacti out of the way. He's very cute, but he's kind of in the way right now. Also, how many of those tin sheets did I make? I didn't manage to make many of them, right? How many have been compressed over here? Oh, these are actually not too expensive to make, right? It's just time that we have to spend. So let's make a few more of these, right? And I guess what we could do is just try and set up a very, very quick idea with the blocks, right? So if this is going to be the roof of the power plant, like so, let's get some of these blocks set up like this. Oh, you know what we should do now that we're actually doing some proper crafting, guys? We should actually make for ourselves a builder's wand, right? Builder's wand's going to really help speed things up a bit here. So I think to make a builder's wand, I need some wood. So I guess we could just take some wood from the Outback over here. We'll use some jungle wood like this and some sticks. And I believe the builder's wand looks a little something like this. Stick, and iron or a diamond will last longer. But check this out, man. The builder's wand is actually really, really sweet. One of my favorite items in modded. And kind of an essential tool to any modded player. Like, if you're not using a builder's wand in modded Minecraft, you're doing it wrong. It is, like, as important as a pickaxe is in vanilla Minecraft these days. Anyway, let's get these foundations built up over here. I think we'll move this one across here. This is just going to be like a very quick example of what our power plant might look like, right? I just want to get an idea of what the colors look like, mostly. To see if it fits into the biome. So let's use the builder's wand here to sort of finish off the roof. And I've run out of those nickel blocks. My goodness, guys. This is going to be an expensive build, let me tell you. I can feel it already. We're going to have to set up some production facilities out here to supply the blocks that we need to actually finish this. But we should be okay, though. We should be okay. Let's just finish off this beautiful roof here. And we'll probably go out one like that. And on this side, too. Boop. And on this side, and on the other side too. I know it's looking super janktastic, my dudes. It's already out on this side, so that's cool. I know it's looking super janktastic, but we're going to work to make it look really cool. This is just an idea of what the power plant might look like, right? So that is what it's going to look like from a color perspective. The power facilities will be inside the chamber over there, I suppose. And the roof, I guess, we will use chisel and bits to sort of flatten that roof a little bit. I mean, maybe we could even do it now. Where is me chisel? There's me diamond chisel. And let's see if we can actually use our flight mechanism here to get on top of that quite easily. Where is my flight wand? Oh, I think I was charging it. Ooh, look at this. Oh, the gliding, though. That glidage, though, that is awesome. Let's try this. Boop. Oh, look at that. Oh, oops. I derped that up. I'm going to take a little bit of practice, I think, to get this right? But there we go. And we can just come down. Nice and safe. Beautiful. Man, that felt really, really good. Now, let's get our chisel out, and we'll pull our wings back in, I think, so we don't annoy ourselves. And let's see if we can actually make this look a little bit more interesting. We'll set our chisel to draw region here. And maybe we'll make that... Oops. Let's just back up with that move. Maybe we will make the roof 2 pixels high. So something like this. How far can we drag this thing? All the way to about here. Let's get rid of that. And let's have a look at that from this perspective. Oh, yes. That's what I'm talking about, right? So we get this really nice, thin-looking tin roof. Or tin sheet roof, rather, or sheet metal roof. And maybe we can find different colors too, right? That we could mix in there. So that is the nickel sheet metal. We might be able to mix in some other colors there, like maybe the iron sheet metal will look pretty good in there. And maybe even some of the steel sheet metal could show like different levels of degradation to the metal in the roof, right? But if you can imagine this entire roof sort of flattened, I think that's basically what we're going to be cooking with out here, man. And it's going to be freaking awesome. Now we be cooking with grilled cheese sandwich gas, dogs. This block palette is looking absolutely perfect. I love it, man. I've extended the size of this little factory foundation a bit here. And look how beautiful the surroundings are when we're inside. I think these blocks match perfectly what's happening out here, right? The color anyway of the blocks. It's looking amazing. This is exactly how I wanted to come together. I don't really like these pillars though. I think they're really, really massive. And I think what I'm probably going to do is use chisel and bits to sort of make these a little bit smaller, right? We could probably even do that quite quickly here, right? If we just use the plane tool of the chisel, we can sort of just push the blocks in by 3 on each side, right? Just like so. And you can already see that it makes a massive difference, right? It just makes the pillar look not so Minecraft vanilla-y and a little bit more moddedy, if that is indeed a terminology. Something like that, right? And we can work on making it look a little bit fancy. But today I just wanted to get the colors right. I think this is looking amazing. It looks beautiful in this biome. Absolutely perfect. I have no idea what this is going to do. What I thought we could do, though, maybe we could set up some of these machines, or we can move this over there to have a look at what the machines might look like inside there. But what I think we should do is we should have one of these shacks, I guess, is what it is. It's kind of like a factory shack. We should have one factory shack for each process of the power generation, right? So we'll have like a shack for the production of milk. We'll have a shack for the production of salt, a shack for the production of toast, etc., etc. So we'll probably have about 3 or 4 of these out here that'll all be connected, via like, I don't know, like some sort of a grid system or something like that. I think that could turn out really, really sweet, man. Oh, I'm looking so forward to getting this project done, guys. We're going to get some serious power out of here. I mean, that's the idea. I just want to be able to generate a couple thousand ticks worth of RF so that we can kind of do whatever we want out here without having to worry about power. We can start making some Ender IO machines and whatnot. Let's plug the recharger in here too. Oh, is this the recharger? No, did I completely derp this up? Yeah, there's the recharger. This is a freaking sag mill over here, man. Ren, what are you doing? There we go. That's where the recharger is. Anyway, my dudes, I think we're probably way over time as usual for today's episode, but I'm very happy with how this has all turned out. And look at that. That actually looks kind of fancy, right? Very nice. I mean, we might need to use some chisel and bits to make these things look a little bit more rusty. We could add like a rusty facade to them so they don't look so modern. But we'll get to all of that jazz in the future. Also, next episode, we'll start doing a couple of jobs for the government too, trying to earn ourselves a little bit of cash money. But that's going to do it from me today, guys. It's been a super eventful episode, man. We managed to crack the nut on some early game flight, which makes me super awesomely happy. And maybe our next business can be selling early game flight to the rest of the fools, right? Because look at this, man. What fool out there isn't going to want to be able to do this and pay big money for it? You know what I'm saying? Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the episode and you want more, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, show me the love. Hit me up in the comments with any ideas, guys. You guys help me be a better modded player. And again, thanks for all of the love in the series so far, man. You guys are freaking sweet. ReNDoG signing out from the Big Cheez Power desert of awesomeness. We'll smell you all in the next episode.